everyone, this is Samantha from the Dancing Soap Dish. I hope you're well. It's time for the penultimate Mosaic Challenge project for this year. And I'm doing these beautiful white on white Christmas tree mosaic soap bars. White is such a beautiful and elegant color, and as you can see here, the mosaics of the white on white is just a beautiful effect. Absolutely stunning. This is the November project of my 2023 Mosaic Soap Challenge. You can find all the other projects in a special playlist on this YouTube channel. So here we are looking at them again. They've got glitter in them, they've got a bit of sparkle in them. The camera's really not doing them justice. They're really hard to photograph. I was having so much trouble because they're so pretty and I want to show you, but yeah, the camera not doing them justice, but you got to trust me. These are gorgeous. These are beautiful and a great gift for any family member or friend this year. They'd also make a great Christmas decor item for your bathroom. So I'm going to show you how you can make these yourself. They're simpler than they look, trust me. Let's get started. So we're starting off, of course, with my mosaic tile silicone molds. I'm going to be using this section today. I have 3 of them because it saves me a lot of time. I've also got a range of white soap colorants. So some beautiful diamond sparkle mica, some pearlescent white mica. I also have some white holographic eco glitter and some titanium dioxide, liquid titanium dioxide as well. So I've got 4 different white soap colorings here to make my white on white soaps. I'm going to start by making the tiles. So I'm weighing out 25 grams of melt and pour soap base, clear melt and pour soap base. I'm going to start with my pearlescent mica. I'm using a mica measuring spoon, which is about 1/32 of a teaspoon, and I'm measuring out 2 of those into my soap, mixing it in with a spray of isopropyl alcohol, and then I will pour it into this sort of random, I guess you could call them abstract shaped tile section. I've got a scraper on hand, which I'm going to use to make sure that every little tile cavity is filled all the way to the top. And I'm also going to scrape off the excess. I don't need any excess, so I'll scrape off the excess soap onto, I've got some grease-proof paper here underneath my molds. And that is one section done already. Next, I'm going to make another white. I'm using the same little measuring cup because it's all white, doesn't really matter. You get more interesting colors that way. I'm adding a drop of the titanium dioxide here, and I'm also going to add the pearlescent mica again. So basically I've done some just plain pearlescent, and then I've done pearlescent again with a little bit of titanium dioxide, which just makes it, it's still pearlescent, but a little bit whiter with that titanium dioxide in it. So again, I'm going to mix that in and pour it into the little cavities. Here we go. And for the third white, I'm just dipping the end of this spoon into the glitter. That's all you need, the teeniest amount of glitter. And also there's just some remnant pearlescent sort of tinge to that because I'm using the same cup again, and that will be my third color. I'm going to put those aside to set while I do the next step. While my mosaic tiles are setting, I'm going to make my base bars. So these are the bars that the mosaic Christmas tree are going to rest on top of. I'm weighing out 600 grams of white melt and pour soap base. I've also got some fragrance here. I'm using a beautiful forest blend of essential oils. I'm going to put some of this beautiful diamond mica into the fragrance oil just because I find it mixes in better that way. I want a little bit of this beautiful sparkle through my white. It might not show when the soap bar's dry, but definitely when the soap bar is wet, when you're using it in the shower, you'll be able to see this beautiful sparkle within the white soap bar, which is just glorious. So, okay, so like I said, I have 600 grams here of melt and pour soap, which is approximately 21 ounces. I'm going to make 100-gram bars, or 3.5 ounce bars, approximately. I'm not going to use all of this soap at the moment. So in order that the grout that I'm going to use to grout my mosaic is the same color white and the same fragrance as the base bar, I've actually melted enough to do the grout as well. And I'll pour that into a separate mold when I'm finished, and I'll be able to reuse that later. So I've popped my mold on a tray. I've popped that tray on top of the scales, and I'm resetting my scales to 0 in between pouring each bar. I'm pouring 75-gram bars here, which equate to 2.65 ounces. And then, like I said, I'm going to pour the rest, or the excess, into just a spare mold so that I can use that again later. Back to my mosaic tiles now. I actually want to do a 4th color, so I need to empty one of these sections here so I can use this mold again. My 4th color is going to be with the Diamond Sparkle Mica, which is just beautiful and glittery. It's got a bit of a thicker particle size here. Almost looks like glitter, but it's a little bit finer than glitter, so, but it definitely sparkles. So I'm just going to reuse this soap here that I'm cleaning off my scraper. Why not? Waste not, want not. I'll be able to stir that in and use that again. And I'll do just 1 little spoonful of this white diamond mica to make my 4th white set of mosaic tiles. There we go. Just pop that in there. Oh, it's so glittery. I love it. Very pretty. Okay, so now the next step is to mix up your tiles and reassemble them in random order inside your mold. So basically, we want something that looks like this. We're going to create a slab of beautiful mosaic tiles that have all 4 different colors of white in them. So that's what we're aiming to do now. So in order to do that, you need to mix the tiles up and then put them back inside the molds, just like this. This is an optional step. I mean, I just really like the mixed up look. I think it just makes it look, that much better. But also it is, a lot of extra work. If you don't want to do this, you can just use, the full slab of all the same color. In that case, you probably don't need to make the 4th color. 3 colors will suffice. But the reason I use 4 colors is because I don't want any of the same color tile to sit next to each other. And that's really only achievable if you've got 4 different colors. 4 different colors is sort of the minimum that you can do that with. So I'm just popping the tiles back into the mold in a random pattern, making sure that the same color tile is not sitting next to itself. And then once I've done that, I'm not really worried about this. Around the edges, there's some really tiny tiles and they're just really hard to get back in. Don't worry about those. We won't need those. So just do, the big predominant tiles, and we can do without those little smidgy ones. That's fine. Okay, so now I have my 3 tiled sections all jumbled up. There's a random tile effect there, which I think looks beautiful. And I'm going to seal them all in. So I'm going to pour some soap base over the top, about 10 to 15 grams, just to seal them all together. Again, I'm just using leftovers. These are bits of soap that I peeled off the greaseproof paper. That was the bits that I scraped off, the excess that I scraped off when I was making my tiles. So I'm going to put that all back in there so I can reuse it, plus a little cube there to make it up to the amount that I need. There we go. Doesn't really matter if it's got sparkles in it or glitter in it or pearlescence in it. It's going to be hidden within the bar of soap anyway. So now I'm going to pour this directly over the tiles, and I've put my molds as close together as I can, just so that that way I waste less soap if I can just put them together. And then any excess soap can kind of pour over to the next one. There we go. And that's all you need to do, just so that they cover the surface. And that will be enough once that's set to sort of hold the tiles together so that you can remove them from the molds in that beautiful pattern. So this is set now. I'm just going to cut these molds apart because they're stuck together with soap. There we go. So in order to remove your mosaic tile slabs from the mold, the best thing to do is to just loosen the slab around each edge. And try and keep the slab flat as well. It's the mold that you should be bending, not the slab. If you bend the slab too much, the tiles can pop off. They will pop off. So try and keep the slab flat and bend the mold. So again, just around each side. Take off each side of the square, and then the mold should just peel back quite easily once you've done that. Make sure that you haven't left any tiles behind. There we go. This is our third one. Quite easy to do this, but you do have to be gentle because you don't want to lose any tiles. There we are. So I have these all ready to go. Now obviously they need a trim because I have got that excess tiles and excess soap around the edge. So I'm just going to use a knife to trim the edges. I'm going as close as I can to the soap tiles right along the edge there. Doing my best not to knock off any of the tiles in the process. There we go. Oh, this is kind of therapeutic. I love slicing soap like this. It's really nice. There we go. And I'm going to be left with 3 beautiful white mosaic tile slabs. Aren't they lovely? Okay, so the next step, I'm actually going to be using a cutting mat. So I've still got my greaseproof paper, but you can see through to the grids on the cutting mat underneath. And I'm going to use these grids to help me cut out my Christmas trees. So the first step is to take a slab of tiles and cut it in half diagonally. I'm using a ruler just because I want a perfectly straight line. There we go. And then I'm going to use this triangular corner here to be the top of my Christmas tree. So I'm going to line it up with a line, and then I'm going to cut along the bottom. I also want room for a tree trunk, so I'm going to just cut out some corners here. So I have a tree trunk, just making sure it's straight. It's a little bit wonky. Oh, and I've lost a tile down there on the corner. That happens sometimes, so you need to be careful. And I think I'll cut that off because that tile is never going to be able to stay there. Okay, so once you've done your first one, you use that as a prototype to help you cut out the rest. And tips for doing this, make sure that the edges don't have any really tiny fragments of tile on them. You want larger tiles down the edges because otherwise when you grout them in, sometimes the heat of the soap can melt them if the tiles are too small. And I'm also just doing them from different angles just so that I get different shaped mosaics. I don't want the same tiles in the same position for each soap. So I'm doing them from all different angles and just lining them up to make sure that I've got the best tiles, how it looks, that it looks pretty, that there's none of the missing tiles are on the edge of my soap, and that everything looks perfect and beautiful. And here they are. I have 6 mosaic Christmas trees, which I'll add to my base bars to continue making my soaps. So let's see how these mosaic Christmas trees are going to look on the base bars. So I'm just placing these here just so I can make sure that I'm happy with the size and the shape of the trees, that I can position them in the center of the bar, that they don't look a bit wonky or have too much space on one side. And I'm quite happy with these. I think these will look good. Yep, it's looking pretty good to me. Now, of course, the next step is to grout in these mosaics. I've got these 2 blocks of soap, the same scent and the same color as the base bars. It was my leftover. And I'm just going to quickly chop that up into cubes so I can melt it down again. I'm going to do my grouting in 2 parts, so 3 soap bars at a time. Basically because I want to use my little pouring cup, which only holds 75 grams. And I also don't want my soap hardening as I'm working. So I need to work really quickly. I'm just going to do 3 soaps at a time. So I've got about 150 grams of this leftover soap. I'm putting 75 grams in this little cup here. Also, to help me out, I have some isopropyl alcohol. And I'm also going to pour some of that into this little beaker here. I've got some Q-tips or some cotton buds that I'm going to soak in the alcohol to use later. And I'm also going to use a bamboo skewer in case any of my tiles need a little nudge. Okay, so first off, I'm going to give everything a really good spray with alcohol. Then I'm going to pour a little bit of soap and position my Christmas tree where I want it. Then I pour the rest of the soap over it and use my Q-tip dipped in alcohol to just quickly wipe down the top of the soap tiles to make sure that I get off any excess soap. So see here, I lost one of my edge tiles, so I'm just using my bamboo skewer to pop it back in place. Came in very handy there. I've done those 3 tiles now, giving them one last clean up, and I will melt the other 75 grams of soap that I had left over. Again, really good spray, then put a little bit down, use it to stick down your Christmas tree, then pour soap over it. I find you have to pour soap over it if you want it to get inside those gaps and really grout the tiles. There's really no avoiding it. But that's why I give them a good spray with alcohol, and then I use alcohol dipped Q-tips to give them a clean up afterwards. And it works really well. So there we go. That was pretty easy. Here they are. They have set. I'm going to demold them. They're so pretty. I'm so excited. I mean, there's really no grand reveal here because you can already see what they're going to look like. But I will take them out nonetheless. There we go. We have beautiful white bars of soap with gorgeous little Christmas trees on the top. And you can see here a bit of the shimmer there on the bottom going through the soap. I really love that. It's so diamondy. There we go. And I'm going to have 6 amazing Christmassy mosaic soap bars. And they smell glorious too. They smell like a forest, which is what I was hoping for. There we go. That is beautiful. So here they are. Again, the camera does not do them justice. They are shimmery, they are sparkly, they are pearlescent, they glisten in the light. They are white, they are sophisticated and elegant, and they're just gorgeous. And I really hope you enjoyed this second last of the year mosaic soap project. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you love what we do. And thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Enjoy.